Hey everyone, and welcome back. Have you ever stopped to think about the incredible, complicated journey a new medicine takes before it ever gets to you? It is a wild path, full of huge scientific hurdles and, most importantly, critical safety checks. Today, we're going to talk about the experts who actually guide that journey. So, let's just dive right in.
This is probably the single most important question in medicine, right? We all want amazing, groundbreaking treatments, but at the end of the day, we absolutely have to know that they're not going to cause more harm than good. So how exactly is that proven? It turns out it's a process that's way more complex than just a simple checkmark.
Think about it like this. The path from a discovery in a lab to a life-saving drug, it's like trying to navigate a dense, uncharted forest. You can't just wander in there and hope you come out the other side. No way. You need an expert guide, someone who knows the terrain, knows all the rules, and knows where the hidden dangers are.
And that is exactly where a company like Kandih Bioscience comes into play. This is what they do. They are those expert guides. They specialize in toxicology, which is basically the science of safety, for everything from your standard drugs to the latest biologic therapies. Those really complex treatments made from living things, like antibodies. They even handle combination products, which might be something like a medical device that's coated with a drug. They pretty much provide the map and the compass for this whole critical journey.
So what does a guide like this actually do? Well, let's open up their toolkit and take a look. The very first tool, and honestly the most critical one, is all about planning the entire trip. That's the regulatory submission.
So before a potential medicine can even be considered for testing in people, companies have to submit this enormous file of non-clinical, that means pre-human, safety data to agencies like the FDA. Now, this is not just paperwork, okay? This is the strategic blueprint for the entire safety investigation. It lays out exactly what you're going to test and how you're going to prove it's safe. Getting this right from the very beginning is absolutely fundamental.
All right, so once that plan gets the green light, it's time to actually start gathering the evidence. And the next tool in the kit is all about supporting this deep scientific exploration. This phase, this is all the lab work. It's all the non-clinical studies that have to happen before you get anywhere near a human trial. Kandih's role here is kind of like being the chief strategist. They help design the right experiments to answer the most critical safety questions, and they make sure the data coming out of those experiments is solid, reliable, and actually useful.
But, just designing a great study isn't quite enough. You have to make sure it's carried out perfectly. The journey needs constant attention, which brings us to our third tool, study monitoring.
Just imagine a super complex experiment that's running for weeks, maybe even months. Study monitoring means having an expert right there, on the ground, watching everything. They make sure every single rule and procedure is followed to the letter. This kind of oversight is what guarantees the quality and the integrity of the data. Without it, even the best designed study could give you results that are just wrong.
And that brings us to the final and really crucial tool in the kit. After all the planning, all the testing, and all the monitoring, you are left with a mountain of data. So, now what? Well, you have to make sense of all of it.
This is it. This is the destination of that whole initial journey. It's where an expert toxicologist sits down and looks at every single data point to build a complete safety picture. They pinpoint any potential risks, they figure out what dose is safe, and ultimately they make the call on whether the product is ready for human trials. This is really where all that science becomes a clear, straightforward statement on safety.
So we've looked at all the individual tools, right? Now let's put it all together and really see how this guide leads a brand new product through that entire complex safety journey.
Now, what I love about this is how you can see the logical flow. It all kicks off with the master plan. That's the regulatory submission. That plan then guides all the research. That research is then constantly monitored to make sure it's high quality. And finally, all the data that comes out of that research gets analyzed in the risk assessment. See how each step builds directly on the one before it? It creates this complete, solid, and defensible safety package.
And this slide just perfectly sums up the two crucial roles these guides play. On one side, you've got the innovators, the scientists and the companies creating these new treatments. They need a clean, efficient path through a maze of regulations. But on the other side, you've got us, the public. We need to have total confidence that these new medicines are safe. Kandih operates right in that sweet spot in the middle, making sure both of these essential needs are met.
So here's the bottom line. This whole process isn't about choosing between moving fast and being safe. It's about creating a system where they actually support each other. Having expert guidance means innovation can push forward confidently because you know it's being built on a foundation of rigorous, undeniable safety science.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As we see these unbelievable advances in areas like gene therapy and personalized medicine, the science is only getting more complex, not simpler. So, as we keep pushing the boundaries of what's medically possible, just how much more important are these expert guides going to become to make sure our future is not only innovative, but also safe?